to get dressed. So far, at least. Shannon, I don't know where you went, but they're not old people. They're seasoned people. So just want to clarify that. So I've already had, I know some of you already know this, but I've already had at least a half a dozen people walk up to me and be like, what in the world are you wearing, you know? If you're relatively new to Gulf Coast, it was a year ago, August, my brother-in-law was riding his bike and was hit and killed by a drunk driver. And when we went to clean his stuff out of his house, we found gnomes everywhere, okay? And we found out, I guess, that people, his friends, would just buy gnomes sometimes and just stick them in his yard, and he doesn't even know where they came from or who put them there or anything like that. And so when I found this, I was like, I got to get this shirt. And I wore it last year, and then when I saw it was going to be warm enough today to wear a short-sleeve shirt, I was like, I'm wearing my gnome shirt. I'm going to wear this the rest of my life on Christmas. So at any rate, who's all ready for Christmas tomorrow, huh? Yeah, kids, you ready? Kids, I see one over here. Yes, you are ready, yeah. So I know Shannon absolutely loves Christmas. Can I be ruthlessly honest with you guys for just a moment, okay? So we have been, this whole Christmas in a Snow Globe series has been planned and talked about and put down on paper for months and months and months before Christmas ever got here. In fact, Christmas for next year, 2024, there's already some thoughts and ideas put down on paper for Christmas next year. And so I find it's just my own personal struggle. I find it kind of difficult that once Christmas kind of rolls in, I kind of just want it to keep on rolling, you know, because I get tired of Christmas a little bit because it's just been planning for months and months and months. One of the things that I have discovered for me that helps tremendously is a good Christmas movie, though. Anybody love Christmas movies? Okay, guys, all right? You got to be honest in church, all right? How many of y'all love a good Hallmark Christmas movie, huh? Yeah, guys? All right, any guys? Guys, men? All right. If you raise your hand, I'm going to need your man card at the end of the service, okay? Yeah, so I love a good Christmas movie. Don't hold this against me. I don't care for like many of the old classics, you know. I know many of you do. You put Miracle on 34th Street on, I'm going to get a great nap, you know. But for me, I love Elf. Like, I could watch Elf every single day. I never get tired of it. It can be on TV, and we're scrolling through, and we find it, and it can have 10 minutes left in the movie, and I'll watch the rest of it, you know? I love that movie. Last year, if you have Apple TV, maybe you saw this one, they released a Christmas musical called Spirited, which I absolutely love, and I can watch that one over and over as well. I love the Christmas cartoons, though. Anybody love the classic cartoons, you know? I love all of those, except for Frosty. I used to love Frosty until my daughter was born, and she decided Frosty was her favorite Christmas show out of them all and would watch it over and over and over again, even April, May, June, July. It's what she wanted to watch in the van as we're driving home from somewhere. It was always Frosty. Now, listen, y'all, I could not have figured this out myself. I could not have scripted this, okay? I kid you not. Last night, my daughter comes walking into the living room and says, guys, can we order pizza and watch Frosty the Snowman? And I was like, oh my gosh. I didn't tell her what I was talking about today whatsoever, you know? And you guys know that without commercials, you can watch Frosty the Snowman 3 times in 1 hour? Yeah, 6 hours, that's 18 times in a row. I'm just saying, you know, so. Frosty's a good example, though. I know he loves a good snowstorm, but proverbially, you know what I'm talking about. Frosty's good. until it starts to warm up in the spring, right? And the snow starts to melt and that sort of thing. And then life kind of becomes a mess for him. If you're new with us today, the premise of this Christmas in a Snow Globe series is how we all, no matter who you are, Christian and non-Christian alike, at some point in our lives, probably multiple times, maybe like ongoing, you feel like this. You just feel like you're living your life inside of a snow globe. And this is the point of the snow globe that we all love. We like this point that everything is calm and peaceful. It's beautiful, you know, but then something happens, someone comes along or something in life happens, and somebody picks up your snow globe and goes like this, and all of a sudden it's this giant snowstorm in your life. Right? And once, like, we don't like this part if you're living in it, but once somebody sets it back down, it's okay. Then we're okay. If we can get through it, then it's okay. But during the storm, though, that's when life is really difficult. It's tough. And it's difficult to find hope amidst the messes in life, the storms of life. And that's why I love some of those classic Christmas cartoons, like The Grinch. You know, you end The Grinch watching that, and it's a story of hope. His heart was, how many sizes? 3 sizes? 4, 10 sizes? I don't know. It was just too small. How many? Really? That's it? I thought it was more than that. Okay, anyway. It was too small, right? But, yes, 2 sizes. Thank you. By the end of the movie, there's hope. Right? He's found the meaning of Christmas a little bit. Which, by the way, in the newer version of that, the best part of that show is when the cat gets sucked up into the vacuum. That's the best part right there. I'm just saying, okay? You know, the Jack Frost, or not Jack Frost, the Santa Claus movies, right? I love all of those, all of the Santa, you know, that has the home improvement guy in it, whatever is, that guy, you know? Tim Allen, that's right, Tim Allen. He's got that guy in there. And in the third one, if you've ever seen it, Jack Frost tricks him into giving up his position as Santa Claus, and then Jack Frost turns the North Pole into this giant amusement park. Right? He wants to just use it all for himself, and he has this messy heart until the end of the movie. He gets this hug from this young little girl, and all of a sudden his heart is transformed, and there's hope again. See, here's the thing for most of us. For most of us, we look at ourselves in the mirror. We don't like what we see. We don't like the person we become. We don't like the direction our life is heading, and maybe you would describe your life as a heart without hope. Maybe you would describe your life, maybe right now, like somebody picked up your snow globe and you're living right in the middle of the snowstorm. You know, your snow globe is upside down. I don't know if you can relate to that or not. And if you can, here's what I want you to walk away with today. In fact, if you get nothing else out of today, I want you to hear what I'm about to say right now. Don't ever forget this, friends. It's this bottom line, that if Jesus can handle the messy manger, surely he can handle your messy heart. If he can handle the messy manger, I'm telling you, he can handle the messes in your life, the storms in your life. He can handle your messy heart. One of the, I don't know if you've ever wrestled with this, but one of the most puzzling facts to me about the Christmas story sometimes is that he comes to earth and he places himself in human form, the Son of God, and was born in a stable. Like most nativity scenes depict that as a barn, right? Most likely it was more of a cave. It was dark, it was wet, it was smelly, a hole in the side of a hill, most likely. He was born amongst animals, right? Anybody ever grow up or work on a farm? It's smelly a little bit, isn't it? I can remember working for the farmer that was about a half mile down the road from my house when I was a teenager in high school. I can remember cleaning out those pig areas, all that manure and everything. I mean, it smelled, it stunk, it was nasty, dirty, right? Animals are dirty. Like, only thing that smells worse than that is a chicken farm, you know? Or maybe the paper mill. I mean, you know, definitely when your son completely stops up the toilet and doesn't tell you anything about it. I'm just saying. I won't talk anymore about that one, but yeah. Born amongst animals, right? Like he's a Prince of Peace. He could have been born in a palace. He's the King of Kings. He could have had all riches. Anything that he wanted, he could have been waited on hand and foot, but yet he did not choose that life. Why? Why? Luke chapter 2, we find the classic Christmas story. If you got your Bible, you can turn there. Luke chapter 2. I want to point out a few things that Mary and Joseph did amidst this mess. I got to tell you, y'all, I don't think this was a silent night, holy night for them. I think this was a mess. I think this was a snowstorm. I think there was a lot of tension and stress going on in their lives. They're far away from home, and now she's about to have a baby. But I want to show you some of these aspects, and I truly believe that if you can begin to take what we're talking about here, even if you don't believe what I'm about to read from Scripture here, that if you just take the concepts of what we're talking about here today, and you begin to apply them to your daily life, you will begin to be able to navigate, not get rid of the storms, the snowstorms and the messes, but begin to navigate through them in a much healthier way. Look at this Christmas story from Luke's perspective. Luke chapter 2, verse 1 says, "At that time, the Roman Emperor Augustus decreed that a census should be taken throughout the Roman Empire. All returned to their own ancestral towns to register for this census. And because Joseph was a descendant of King David, he had to go to Bethlehem in Judea, David's ancient home. He traveled there from the village of Nazareth in Galilee. He took with him Mary, to whom he was engaged, who was now expecting a child. And while they were there, the time came for her baby to be born. She gave birth to her firstborn son. She wrapped him snugly in strips of cloth and laid him in a manger, because there was no lodging available for them." When you look in the mirror and you see a messy heart, you see Scrooge, you see Grinch, how can you take this Christmas story and use it to change that mess? The very first thing Mary and Joseph shows us, and in my opinion, this is probably one of the more difficult things, especially during this time of year. Like we've talked about over the past several weeks, if you've been with us, how it's so easy to get sucked into the craziness of the season, right? We probably all agree that there's probably more moments throughout the month of December that it's easy to forget, as the old cliche says, that Jesus is the reason for the season. Right? Because we just get busy and it's go, 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 go. I think the very first step in navigating the mess that we see from Mary and Joseph is we have to be aware just of the presence of Jesus. You have to be aware. See, Jesus can't handle your messy heart unless you allow him into your messy heart. Mary and Joseph were very aware of the presence of Jesus. You're very aware that you're about to give birth to a child when you're pregnant, aren't you, ladies? Right? Like verse 5 again, it says, she was now expecting a child. Let me just ask you, what are you expecting this Christmas? She's expecting a child. Ladies, if you have ever been pregnant, I promise you, right, there has never been a time where you found yourself in those last few days or even couple of weeks or so where you just spontaneously forgot, oh, I'm about to have a baby, right? It's not like that at all. You get to those last few days and it's like, get this thing out of me now, right? You know, it's like you got the AC turned down to 42 degrees. You can't stand up. You can't walk. Your husband is the devil because you did this to me, right? And you're like, get rid of this thing. You have never, ever forgotten that you're about to give birth. Because Mary and Joseph knew who this child was going to be, they were very aware of the presence of Jesus. What are you expecting? Tomorrow, Christmas. Today, Christmas Eve. What are you expecting? I can remember, I think it was a couple years ago, 3-4 years ago or so, Amanda and Allie and I head into Sam's Club and Walmart to get some supplies for, it was a Christmas party of some sort. And I don't know about you guys, but for us, it feels like Amanda and I have this curse upon us. It really does feel like that sometimes. Because every time we go to Sam's Club or Walmart, it rains like crazy, okay? Up in the can where we live, Cantonment, like it is absolutely gorgeous. Sun is out. You don't see a cloud in the sky. You get to Sam's Club, like it's just torrential downpours for some reason, you know? And so I had my list, right? Had my list. This is the things that we got to get. Let's get our things. Let's go home. You know, that sort of thing. Go into Walmart, get your 2 liters of soda and a ham. And like, I'm irritated with traffic. I'm impatient with the long lines, right? And because I am a part of the male species, I am on a mission at this point. Unlike ladies, I'm on a mission. I got my list. I know what I have to get. I got places to go, people to see, and I got to get all of these things. They're in the cart. They're ready to go. Let's get in the checkout line, and let's go. What do the ladies want to do at that time? They want to browse. I'm like, it's Christmas. People are nuts. For some reason, people are so mean this time of year, it feels like, you know, and you just want to browse. I'm just like, I want to go home. All I could think of was myself. I'm focused on me. It's my only day off out of the entire week. Somebody called the ambulance for me, right? I'm tired. I want to go home and relax and sit my rear end into my recliner that has the perfect intention for my rear end only. You got a chair like that, don't you? Right? You know what I'm talking about, right? And then afterwards, it's like, I wonder if I missed a moment. I definitely missed a moment recognizing the presence of Jesus. Man, it's just so easy. Like when you look at your daily routine along with like the crazy spur of the moment emergencies, are you able to recognize the presence of Jesus? Listen to this, listen. It's no wonder the world is missing out on Jesus when we ourselves are not even aware of his presence. It's no wonder they're missing it. Psalm chapter 139, verse 7 says, I can never escape from your spirit. I can never get away from your presence. I believe one of the reasons that Jesus was born in a cave rather than in a Holiday Inn Express or something, you know, was to show you and me he can handle the messy manger. And if he can handle the messy manger, he can surely handle the messes in your life as well. We have to be aware of his presence. And just like Mary and Joseph, I love this point. If when we are aware of the presence of Jesus, I think it spurs us on to serve even more. Just like them, we have to let our first priority be to serve Jesus. That's what Mary did. Mary served Jesus. Hey, you ever wonder if she spanked him? Like he's born, like let's make sure the pipes work, right? You know, sort of thing, you know? I mean, this is real life. This is a real baby who was just born. Yes, it's the Son of God, but this is a real little tiny baby, right? Verse 7 again, it says she gave birth to her firstborn son and then served him. She wrapped him snugly in strips of cloth. I can remember growing up how my mom served me so much when I was a child. How she loved me, the care that she gave me when I was scared, the security that she provided, when I wanted independence, the support that she gave me. And now that I'm older, she makes me biscuits and gravy, you know, that's awesome too. So it's that motherly instinct. And I wish I had more of it sometimes, you know? I wish I had more of that instinct in me to just serve others, that my heart would break just a little more for other people and to serve him a little more. It's counterintuitive, isn't it? It's kind of like when we are stuck in the messes, the snowstorms of life, it's just not our tendency, our go-to tendency to just serve others, right? I got to make sure my needs are met. I focus on my mess. I lose sleep over my mess. I'm compulsive because I got to fix my mess. Like what do you think could happen to your mess if you began to place the mess of others ahead of yours? And just serve like Jesus served. Later on in the life of Jesus Christ, he said this in Matthew chapter 25. He said, "For I was hungry, and you didn't feed me. I was thirsty, and you didn't give me a drink. I was a stranger, and you didn't invite me into your home. I was naked, and you didn't give me clothing. I was sick and in prison, and you didn't visit me." Then they will reply, "Lord, when did we ever see you hungry or thirsty or a stranger or naked or sick or in prison and not help you?" Like, we would have helped you, right? Verse 45, "And he will answer, I tell you the truth, when you refuse to help the least of these, my brothers and sisters, you were refusing to help me." It's exactly the reason why we try to provide numerous opportunities around here at Gulf Coast for you to serve. And I'm not just talking about like serving on the welcome team or the food team or the kids ministry on Sunday morning. I'm talking about like serving our community. Things like National Serve Day every July. If you were with us this past July, we made over 2,000 barbecue sandwiches that then were passed out all around the greater Pensacola area to those less fortunate. You know, things like Operation Christmas Child that we just wrapped up about a month ago. And you guys were so generous in that project, in that service project, that our teens were able to pack over 200 shoe boxes that were then shipped to kids all around the globe. You know, the Christmas offering that Shannon mentioned earlier, an opportunity to give to help college students and middle school and high school students go to Passion Conference and their CIY camps in the summer, and to team up with Dream Center to help do even more things throughout our community as well. And then something I'm super excited about, and this hasn't been announced yet. It's still kind of under the table. I'm going to go ahead and let the cat out of the bag. I'm really excited about this one, y'all. Like for 2024, our global missions team isn't just doing global. They're focusing as well on local missions as well. And already for months into 2024, they have opportunities planned for us to be able to serve in some capacity here in this community. You know why that is so important? Why it is so critical to every single one of you serving like that? One, obviously, because you make a difference in the lives of other people. But two, as well, just as much, you make a difference in your own life. Because especially amidst the messes and the snowstorms, you go out and you serve somebody who would just like a meal because they haven't eaten in 3 days. And you begin to see just how blessed amidst the mess you are. We have that opportunity just to serve. One final point I want to share with you. I think a lot of times, if you're like me, I feel like this sometimes, we fail to step up and serve, and therefore serve Jesus, because we look around and we don't see the means. Like, the heart is there. I want to serve. I don't know how. Right? Like I'm not a wealthy person. I'm not rich. I can't just go, and search out homeless people on the street corner and give them money. I can't do that, Or maybe I don't know what the right thing is to say or how I'm supposed to act or anything like that. You know how Mary and Joseph handled this situation? I love this. I absolutely love this. When it appeared as though they had nothing, they didn't focus on what they didn't have. They focused on what was available. That's so huge. Friends, focus on what is available, not what is unavailable. That's the hang up for so many of us. While we get focused on what we don't have, we miss what we do have. That's right in front of us. That can touch so many other people's lives. Look at verse 7 again. It says, she laid him in a manger because there was no lodging available for them. Inn's not an option, okay? So rather than getting upset about it, throwing a temper tantrum, a hissy fit about it, getting really up in somebody's face about it or something like that, let's not focus on what we don't have. Let's focus on what actually is available. How are we going to work this out, huh? Right? When the text says no lodging available, or as we've heard, for all of our lives, no room in the inn, right? No room in the inn. It's not talking about a room like you would think of the Holiday Inn Express or the Super 8 or something like that. You know, most likely scholars believe that this was one giant room, one building with one giant room, like community living sort of thing, okay? And no one was willing to scoot over for the pregnant lady. Like, who does that? You know, if nothing else, I think this shows us that some 2,000 and some years ago, the culture then was just as self-centered and narcissistic as it is today. Wouldn't move over, wouldn't make any room for somebody about to give birth. I mean, set to the side, it's the Son of God. For anyone. But as far as we can tell, Mary and Joseph didn't get upset about that. They didn't focus on what was unavailable. They figured it out. They figured out what was available. You guys, you know this already. You know that no snowstorm, no mess is ever going to be convenient for you, right? Like, it's going to come at the most inconvenient time. It's going to come at the time when you are completely financially unprepared, worst possible timing. Mary and Joseph are far from home now. They're not in the comforts of their own house, their own home here, right? They're far away. You ever been on vacation, you got a flat tire, car breaks down or something? You know, there's an unexpected debit that's drawn from your account, and now your card doesn't work, and you can't figure out, like you know nobody around in the area at all, and all of a sudden your surroundings are completely amplified, aren't they? What do? I'm telling you, if Jesus can handle that, he can handle your mess as well. If Jesus can handle the mess of the manger, he can handle the messes and storms of your life. I want to show you a story of how Jesus did just that. For a lady in our church here at Gulf Coast, how Jesus took her story from one of domestic violence, homelessness, to being a life of healing. In fact, her story, her journey, you know how your life journey, we always want it to go straight from A to B, but it doesn't do that. It does this. You're all over the place, right? You know what I'm saying? You've seen that illustration before. That's what it did for her. And her journey took her through Terry, who is the director of the Dream Center, and through the Dream Center that our Christmas offering, a third of our Christmas offering is going towards this year. Had it not been for Terry, had it not been for the Dream Center, her life might not be what it is today. I want to show you her story, and I want you to see especially how her story ends with a life of peace, life of calm, and especially I want you to watch her great big smile by the end of her story. Check out the screen.
My name is April Godwin. This is my story. I was being beaten. I was a lot of times being picked up by my throat, off my feet. And I didn't say anything. And if there was anybody in the home, that was witness to it, they didn't talk about it. And that went on for like 3 years. And really didn't get talked about. I didn't say it. It was starting to show, though, honestly. And a lot of people were seeing the difference in me. Like I said, it started to bring, I was hurting. And I didn't know what outlet to go to. My son, Gabriel, when he was 11, he asked to move in with his grandfather, which didn't bother me at the time because that was his dad's dad. When he left the house, my son, which was a good thing because that's when the abuse started. Lasted several years. A year of it I don't even remember. I was depressed, stayed in bed, wouldn't get out of bed. I was feared that if I got out of bed and did something to the nature that he didn't like, a beating would start. I didn't know that it was 3 years that went on until after I became homeless. It was pretty scary. It's pretty scary not having a place to stay, especially at nighttime, and especially being a woman. I mean, as much as you try and be strong and be, to where you can take care of yourself, that's not always the case. I went to Washburn, and I actually went there to use the phone. A lady at Washburn, she had told me that I needed to meet this woman named Terry. And I was like, okay, anything right now, you know what I mean? It's fine. And so I did, and Terry offered me, she, told me she was from the Dream Center, and that they help people that are willing to help themselves, and she told me she would help get me into a program. Got in the car with her and went to the Dream Center, and that's where it started. Well, I did have to stay 5 days in Lakeview. I did go through detox from alcohol and drugs. When I was released from Lakeview, Terry and her husband, Stu, they offered to give me a ride to Foley, Alabama, to Big Fish. And it was just amazing to be around people that are faith believers. And just the difference of the atmosphere of what I had been living in, and just being around those that are just, they have joy around them. When I was first looking for a church here in Pensacola, there is a couple that had told me before I had decided that Gulf Coast was going to be my church. She had told me, she just said, "We're just going to love you." And I was just like, that's it. That's what I needed to hear. There's hope here. It is home. I feel like home. And to be honest, I was nervous. But then I was like, well, I'm going to church. I'm fine. It's my church too. So I lean on scripture all the time. I rely on an open Bible. I even have an open Bible in my dashboard. Try and keep an open Bible at certain main places that I'm at. My house, my bedroom. This is the one I usually tote around with me everywhere. I do have devotionals that I do. Sometimes I don't get to do them at night because I fall asleep. But most days, almost every day, always Ephesians 6, because it's the armor of God. And I like the part with the children and the parents. That's my favorite one. My name's April, and that's my story.